Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Marie Falbo. On today's show, we're talking to leaders who are making a difference for New Jersey students, families, and communities. We'll meet the team from Somerset Children's Center, which has been helping children with special needs thrive for nearly a century. And we'll hear from Safe+Sound Somerset about their work supporting survivors of domestic and sexual violence and the challenges they face after major federal funding cuts. But first, we're joined by Diana Alvear, Head of Media Relations for Verizon's Atlantic North Market, to talk about new investments in digital connectivity, wellness, and back-to-school tech for New Jersey families. Diana, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so happy. But listen, my biggest title is mom.
Absolutely. We were just bonding over that. You have a 5-year-old daughter.
A 5-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son.
Yeah. I have a 4-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son.
Yeah.
So little difference between the 9 and the 2-year-olds, but the 4 and the 5-year-old, they sound like twins.
Yeah. I mean, and they just want to do everything that their siblings are doing. They want to do whatever mom and dad is doing. So, digital stuff is always a challenge with them, especially back to school.
Yeah, and I am not there yet to see the full throttle of what digital means for our children. You are experiencing that.
Yes, I am in the throes of all of that. And the thing about back to school is that parents are starting to realize that it's increasingly digital supplies, right? Like, do we have the right tablet? Do we need a Chromebook? What kind of smartwatch does my child need? When are they ready for a new phone? And those are all questions that bubble up in August. You got to make the money for it. The supplies are getting more expensive. So one of the things that we did at Verizon, because we are a bunch of working moms and dads, is how do we partner with parents on this sort of thing? How do we make it a little easier for them? How do we lock in prices? How do we offer resources? How do we do all these things and really give them what they need during back to school?
So how do you do that?
All right. So one of the first things that we did was we said, why don't we deem August Verizon Family Focus Month? And we kicked it off with Verizon Family Weekend. And really what it was is we equipped all of our retail specialists to talk back to school specifically, no matter what your age group. So whether it's our 4 and 5-year-olds, or it's those tweens that are saying, Mom, I think I'm ready for a phone, or it's your teens and your college kids going back to school, there's something for you. There's some way that we can serve as a resource for you. Please come into the store. Tell them what's going on, in terms of your needs, and they're well equipped to help you out with those, especially when it comes to devices.
Well, you were just showing me on your smartwatch how you can track your daughter in
Yes.
everything she does.
Yes. Okay. So this is the big battle, right? Like, they're like, I'm grown. I don't want to be supervised all the time. Don't be a helicopter parent. And in my mind, I'm like, you are not grown. I still need to know where you are. And this little thing has created a lot of peace of mind for us, because this is the Gizmo 3. I'm going to turn it on for you so that you can see. And it's got lots of different apps on it. It's your kid's first smartwatch, but it's still for kids. They're not old enough for phones. Let's just be honest. So when they're wearing this, though, I have the corresponding app on my phone. It's called the Gizmo Hub. It has a pin. So if you lose your phone, nobody gets access to it. They have to have the pin. This is the dashboard. So it starts with a map of where my child is. I know at all times. And let me tell you something. It's like great for peace of mind. But last year in New York City, there was a 5-year-old girl who was on the bus, and her mom was tracking her, saw she made it to school, but somehow ended up in Mount Vernon and was like, where's my kid? And it turned out that the bus driver didn't realize she was still on the bus. And because of the Gizmo watch, she was able to track her down and make sure that everything was okay. So it's just one of those things where it's something that you don't think you're going to need until you need it. But it's really cute. Let me show you some of the things that you can do with it. So for example, there's a message app on here. I control who the contacts are. So she only has mom and dad on here, but she can send me messages or emojis. My daughter loves emojis. She can also send me voice messages. So you can send her, I can record something and say, hey, sweetie, did you make it to your friend's house? And she can send a voice message right back to me and say, yeah, mommy, I made it. So it's a really nice way for her to learn her independence, right? To really gain those skills. Well, at the same time, though, I have the peace of mind I need as a mom in a world that's just a little different these days. And, we can coexist peacefully.
Yeah, but now what about your 9-year-old? Because he requires a little bit of a different tech.
Yes. So he has been clamoring for a smartphone. And I'm just going to be honest with you, mom to mom, I'm not ready for that yet. So of course he has to have one of these too. And for me, it's a little bit different because now he has the independence to go out in the neighborhood and do what he wants to do. And I know where he's at. So, and they both go on buses. And it just allows mom and dad to know, hey, they're okay. You don't need to check up on them. You don't need to do any of that because we know where they are.
So parenting in a digital world, what is that Verizon has put out there?
Yeah, this is something that I think it's like one of our best kept secrets. It's an expert-driven, expert-written platform for parents. This is a digital world that we're raising our kids in. I was telling you before, like my mom wasn't dealing with any of this. I didn't have a phone when I was 13, 14. So what it does is it offers expert written articles on things like what age is the right age for a smartphone? How do you talk to your kids about online bullying? How do you talk to what do your college kids need to know? How do you prepare them? It's really something where the world is changing so fast. This is a resource. It's free, where you can find the information that you need and stay up to date on it.
Well, where can people find out more?
They can go to Verizon.com, and it's called Parenting in a Digital World, and we'll make sure that you get the link for that. One more note, by the way, we do have the Verizon Family app, and now we offer a paid version of it, which essentially gives you lots of different controls as well. So all of your devices would be connected to this app. So you could do content filtering for your kids. You can keep track of who they're talking to. You can also, for those new drivers in the family, the paid version of it has driver insights. It has, roadside assistance, all sorts of things to it. So something to consider. It's a great app. We've had a huge take up over the last month. I think a lot of parents are like, I need this for back to school.
Yeah. I mean, thank you to you and everyone at Verizon because
I'm like, do these things to maintain the peace in your home.
Yeah, and it's only going to get crazier, the
Yeah.
digital world with AI, and Lord only knows what's going to be down the
Yeah.
pike in 10 years. Diana, thank you so much. I look forward to having you on again and learning more about the other aspects of Verizon World.
Thank you for having me.
For nearly a century, Somerset Children's Center has been helping children with special needs grow, learn, and thrive. Joining us now are Diana Liedl and Mindy Hoppe to share how they're making a lasting impact on kids and families in our community. Welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Tell us about your center.
We are a nonprofit. We serve children with special needs, children on the spectrum, children with developmental delays, children with ADHD, children with sensory issues, and we provide speech and language services, OT, PT, social skills, and art therapy.
Very important, especially here in the state of New Jersey, where it's like, what, 1 in 4 kids have something on the spectrum?
Yeah, it was, as we were driving here, it's like 1 in 54 kids nationally are on the spectrum.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the center has been around for a long time.
1925.
Wow. So you just celebrated 100 years.
Yes, we did. We did.
How did you celebrate, Diana?
We just did a Lucky Ducky Derby, which was our second year, and we kind of celebrated that way without really making it an announcement that it was the 100 years.
Yeah. Well, that's something to be very proud of. Yeah.
I kind of think it's more important that we just put our efforts into doing what's right for the kids and not really celebrating that, like, big anniversary. Like, we know it's fabulous because it really is fabulous, but
we've changed so much over the years. So before it was really just Kids for Polio, and then it morphed into a learning center, and then now into a medical center for speech, OT. We even do feeding therapy as well.
That's interesting, though, polio. And how did it switch over to the issues that you're dealing with today?
The vaccine, right?
I think that had a lot to do with it, but it went from a center which serviced children with polio, and then I guess when school districts decided to notice a need for servicing children with PT, they decided then to send the children out to receive services. So they came to us, and then we went back into the district. It's a little convoluted to try and explain how we are what we are today, but long story short, IDEA changed a lot. You know, we have all the services we need in schools. However, there is that fine line between what is medically necessary and what is educationally sound, and we provide what is medically sound.
Well, I know a big hot button issue right now hitting all nonprofit organizations, not just in New Jersey, but around the country, are funding cuts. And you are getting hit with that.
Big time.
Yeah. Tell us how it's affecting your services.
What we want for our children is we want them to play and be happy and interact with one another, you know, and children on the spectrum don't learn that organically. They have to be taught that. So we offered social skills, and it was done with an OT and a speech therapist, and we would do like cooking, and we would play games, and it was all done in a very natural environment. So we had gotten $10,000 from the county, Somerset County, to provide social skills for 2 years in a row, and that's been cut. And
That's just one example.
That's just one example, and then we've lost about $150,000 in funding
So
for our
how?
program. How are we?
Yeah.
I
How
have
do you
Diana.
recoup that? Yeah. Well, you have Diana,
Diana,
right? The math is over here.
Fundraising, we cut a lot of costs, and what's great about our organization is we don't have all the muckety mucks up top that are getting all the money where the kids get nothing. Almost 100% is going to the kids and the functioning of just the programs. You know, we kind of bring in things and try to subsidize that way.
Who has paper towels?
Yeah, like that's kind of what we do. Like so they're lucky that I have a graphic design background, so I can do the graphic design, the print work, the websites, and all that stuff, and run the fundraisers and all the other jobs I do.
She just ran a fabulous fundraiser, Lucky Ducky Derby, 2nd year in a row, and we raised about $30,000.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, the work involved is insane. It's insane because we have so many children, and we also take insurance. So we have to deal with, you know, submitting insurance and, you know, making sure that everybody's situated in the center, you know. So besides having her do insurance, because I hate to do insurance, she's also working on fundraising, you know. So we do tricky trays and, you know, just anything we could think of. We raffled a trip.
Yeah, we raffled the trip. We actually have a race coming up. It's a 5 and 10K run that we're being beneficiaries of. But we'll do a tricky tray, a line dance.
Anything we can.
Anything we can.
Anything you can, and everything
Anything.
raised pours back into these
Right
students.
in.
Right into it.
Right in.
And you were just telling me stories. The successes that come out of the center, unprecedented.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we have children that started talking. We have children that wasn't going to walk. They were walking.
I mean, it's even little things like we have this new client right now who cannot separate from his mother. He's 3 years old, and he's, when I say freaking out, that's calm. I mean, just screaming, carrying on. And I had her go to therapy with him, and she would hold him. And finally, I had said to her, you know, we need to teach him that he's going to be okay. And he has the strength to be okay within himself, you know. And now he goes into therapy all by himself because he learned, yes, he did scream a few days, you know, but he knew that, you know, look at me, I'm independent, and I did this all by myself. Take the therapy away. Just look at what we've done for this child, just having him come in and walk in, you know, happy and secure and not nervous.
And I think a lot of people that, you know, don't understand what we do there, they don't realize the little significance. Like, even with feeding therapy, we have parents coming in going, oh my God, my child went to the restaurant and didn't eat chicken fingers.
I got those videos too.
You know? So it's just the little things. It's like, you know, be able to maybe just button their pants, or, you know, walking down the hall calmly, or
going
just
to a
conversation.
party.
Going to a party. Like, it's the little things that typical parents with typical children take for granted. Like, my daughter has hearing aids, and because of medication, because I had twins, they were premature, didn't know she needed hearing aids. And I cried the one day, and I'm not a crier. I didn't know she didn't know how to hear. She never heard rain before, and I didn't know. And she's like, Mom, what's that? And I go, what do you mean, what's that? And she's like, what's out? And it was raining. I go, you mean the rain? She goes, yeah, I've never heard that before. And it's like things like that parents don't realize, that with typical children, that the little tiny insignificant things are so big in the world of our children. She's not on the spectrum, and she, you know, she actually speaks very clear. You wouldn't even realize she has hearing aids. But it's comprehension. They were 3 months premature, so she has like a little comprehension problem. So she goes, auditory processing delay. So she goes there, and they, the speech therapist, they read books together, and then she has to summarize the books for her. So you would never think that would be in a speech, you know, place, because I thought speech was just like articulation. There's so much more different issues than just articulation that I never even knew about.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously what you do hits close to home.
Oh, absolutely.
Do
yeah.
you have a personal reason why you are so invested?
I love coming to work. I don't have to work. And when I come in and you see the children all over the waiting room with toys everywhere, because I believe children learn through play, and they're making friends, and they come and they hug you, and they go and they run to their therapists and they hug their therapist, because there's connections made, there's friendships made. I mean, I can't say enough. I did not want this place to be a therapeutic place. Now wait for your therapist,
Now be quiet.
You sit down, you be nice, don't do, no, that's not what we do here. We put a sensory garden in the backyard, we put musical instruments back there. This is their place. It's not mine, it's not Diana's, it's their place to do whatever. We put I had the Boy Scouts do a sensory wall for the kids. I mean, it's wonderful. It's just,
so
why am
lovely.
I invested? They need this. Services have been cut. School districts are not providing what they need to provide. They try, God knows they try, because I was a learning consultant on the child safety team. They try, but more has to be done. And it isn't up to the schools to do everything.
Yeah.
But
And I don't think that they get the same services. I mean, they get service at school, but
it's different.
It's different because it's more like social, even though they don't realize they're being social at our place. Like, it's like we're coming to Aunt Mindy's house and we're going to have fun. And that's what it is. And like, the kids like kind of walk around like it's their house. Like, they just own the place. Like, no, you got to wait here until your therapist comes out. But it's just, I think, a different dynamic that at school, you're there to learn and everything's kind of tense, where these kids are relaxed there and they can, learn by play, and they're learning things and they don't even realize they're learning it. That's what's so different about us.
Well, where can people find out more about you and the center and how to support and donate?
SomersetChildrenCenter.org. But I do want to say we do a lot of assessments. Like, we assess the children who come in, we determine what their goals and objectives are. There's a lot of processes before we will treat, and we do accept insurance. We have a fabulous Facebook page.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. Everything Somerset Children's Center.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on here, spending some time with me, and I hope somebody sees this and gives you the funding that you need.
Millions.
Millions.
That'd be great.
Let's
Like
bring
that.
it, millions.
It all goes to kids, not us.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Safe+Sound Somerset provides life-saving services for survivors of domestic and sexual violence, all at no cost. CEO Michele Boronkas and Jessica Fernandez join us to talk about their mission and how federal funding cuts could impact thousands of survivors in Somerset County. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I got to start out by thanking Jessica. We've been friends for many, many years, and you're responsible for producing the show today. So thank you on behalf of all of us here at Your New Jersey.
Wow, I'm very honored to receive that honor. Thank you.
Well, you're just involved in so many initiatives. You have a heart of gold like no other. And I know this is very near and dear to you.
Yes. My dad's younger sister was, when I was about 3 years old, she was murdered in a suicide by her. She was murdered by her husband in a domestic violence situation. So I kind of grew up, knowing about that story, hearing about that story. It was like a big shadow in my family. But yeah, I never imagined that I would find myself in that situation when I was older, and I did. 3 years ago, my partner was struggling with substance abuse issues, and I found myself in a situation where, I was in denial for quite a bit, but I am a survivor. I survived it. I lived it, and it's been almost 3 years.
You engaged with Safe+Sound to
Yes.
get you out of your situation. How did they help?
They helped in a sense because at that time, I had left my corporate job to be home with my son full time because he was experiencing developmental delays, and I just needed to be focused on his treatment. So I left my corporate job to be home with him full time, and when I left my corporate job, that's where everything just got really bad. It got worse. I just felt like I had nowhere to go. and I didn't want to, talk to my family about it. I was afraid to speak to my family about it. I felt a lot of shame, and I didn't know what to do. And then I was searching late one night online, and Safe+Sound was literally one of the first links. I was like, oh, what is this? I've seen them before on social media. And I clicked on it, and when I saw that they were located in the Somerville area, I was like, oh, wow, this is like right down the road from me. I spoke with someone who took my information, and she went through the whole process with me. I told her briefly what I was going through, and the next day I got a call from someone, a therapist, and I think 2 days later I was in their office in Somerville. At that time I was going through the process of going to court. I had filed a temporary restraining order, and they said, we got you. He's like, we're gonna have somebody there to support you. And that day I requested to file the permanent restraining order.
Wow. Well, it takes a lot of strength to do what you did.
Yeah.
Help or not, but thankfully you had
Right.
Safe and Sound with you. You definitely live up to your name, that's for sure.
For sure.
And just to put a bow on your story, you are now an ambassador for the
Yes.
organization, giving back to other people in need that are facing the same thing, which...
Yeah, after my experience, I took advantage of the therapy services. I was in therapy for about 6 months with them, once a week. Going into this, I thought this was my first time experiencing domestic violence, but through therapy, I learned that no, I've experienced it all my life. But Safe and Sound, showed, educated me on all those things. And it just led to me to really working on myself, and it just led me to kind of focus on healing myself. So once I went through that process, I said, I don't think I'll ever forget what they did for me. What can I do to thank them for what they did? And so she introduced me to the Social Ambassador program, and she's like, it seems like you're really good with social media. She goes, you could help us with things like that. And then and then little by little, you could start doing more things for us. And that's what's been happening. I've been doing more and more. Just, I feel like it's my way of giving back.
Yeah.
Using my connections and my sphere of influence to do what I can to spread awareness, because they deserve it. And especially when I heard about the funding cuts, I can't imagine not having Safe and Sound.
Before we get into the funding cuts, tell us about your organization. I mean,
Sure.
Jessica has benefited so greatly from what you do.
Yeah, and I would say that, Jessica has touched on so many of the things and the reasons we exist, right? So Safe and Sound Somerset has been in Somerset County helping domestic violence survivors for more than 47 years. We have incorporated both sexual violence and child sexual abuse survivors as well into our mission over the last few years. And what we do is we provide safety, stability, healing, and connection for survivors, and allowing them to go through programs that meet their needs where they are, right? And so those 4 areas encompass about 15 programs and about 47 staff that can do everything from take your call on the hotline and give you a safe house that night if you need one, to showing up at the police station, to giving you therapy, to showing up in court and walking you through that process, and helping you find housing and stability so you can move from that experience.
How many people are you helping annually?
So in 2024, we reached more than 7,000 survivors in Somerset County alone. And that number, I will tell you, has increased significantly by double digits over the last 4 years. Wow. And to give you an example, our Safe House provided more than 7,000 bed nights to survivors last year alone. And that's a 295% increase over the last 4 years.
So your numbers are increasing, but your funding is decreasing.
It is, and significantly decreasing. As an essential service, we are the only provider of domestic violence and sexual violence services in Somerset County. And so if we are not here, then survivors will have nowhere to turn.
Domestic violence, it's such a hidden epidemic. It's something that no one's talking about. People are processing it months, years, even decades. Absolutely. A lot of times.
And we moved to, about 10 years ago, we shifted to a trauma-informed approach. And what that means is we know that there are lifelong lasting impacts from experiencing domestic violence, whether you're a child or you're an adult. And so it's about financial stability. It's about, well, if I can't go home and I don't have a safe place to put my head or feed my kids, how do I make that decision, right? And those are decisions that we see people have to make every single day. Reduced funding is going to limit the amount of work we can help them with. We're not going to be able to meet you at your car and walk you through the court anymore. We're not going to have the capacity to reach 7,000 bed nights because we're going to cut our safe house capacity in half.
I hope someone watching, just like I said in the last segment about the Somerset Children's Center, may a millionaire be watching this and feel compelled to reach out to you. How can they do so?
If anyone's in need of our services immediately, they can connect with us at our 24/7 hotline. It's 866-685-1122. And for anyone else, including survivors or anyone that gets to know us, you can reach us at our website at safe-sound.org.
I love it. Well, thank you for doing such important work. Jessica, it takes a lot to come on here on television and tell your story, and you're just such an inspiration in all the ways.
Yeah, well, it took a lot of work to get here. I mean, I felt a lot of shame around it because of my family history around it. It took a really long time, a lot of therapy, but I feel like I owe it to other DV survivors.
Thank you both for coming on
Thanks
today.
so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.